today I'm going to be doing a little bit of a different video. I'm gonna do 15 facts about me. I was gonna do 20, but I can't think of 20. I could barely think of 15. I actually don't have 15, so I think that I'll just think of something when I get there. Since it's the new year, I thought that I will just inform you a little bit more about myself. So let's go ahead and get right on into these facts. Fact number one about myself is it's very hard for me to wear something that I've worn when I've had a really bad day. So say if I wore like a shirt and then I had a really bad day in that shirt, I have a phobia against that shirt or a piece of jewelry, and I generally never wear it ever again. So it's annoying and difficult because sometimes it's really cute, but then it goes for if I wore something and I had a really great day, I tend to want to wear that more because I'm like, hey, I wore this on a good day, so hopefully I have better luck. It's kind of just a mind thing that I do, and sometimes it's really annoying and sometimes it's really great. Number two is I named my dog Snicket, who is licking a weird place, after Lemony Snicket from one of my favorite series as a kid, and I've always wanted to name my dog Snicket or a cat. Whatever animal I got, I've always wanted to name him or her Snicket. So when I got Snicket, I was like, girl, your name is already picked out. And so many people think that she's a boy because of her name, but I'm like, nah, she's a girl, and I love that name. Fact number three is when I was little, I used to carry this doll with me everywhere I went, and McKenna and her sisters knew about it. There's actually photos. I think maybe I'll find one. If I can, I'll like insert it, but I don't know because I'm not at my house, so I can't really get it. But I used to have this doll where I always loved to take off her head, and if you put her head back on, like my sisters would always tease me and put the head back on the doll, and I'd scream. I always wanted the head off the doll, and in so many photos I had like the body of the doll and the head, and it's just really weird. Fact number four is I do not like the sound or even thinking about it of cotton rubbing together. Ooh, that's just so gross. Or like when I dry a certain fabric, like a kind of cottony blanket, and I take it out of the washer and it rubs against, it's so gross. Fact number five about myself is my first name is not Grace, my first name is Catherine. A lot of you do know that, but yeah, my first name is Catherine, and it's spelled really odd. It's spelled K-A-T-H-E-R-A-N. I don't know what my mom was thinking. My mom doesn't even know what she was thinking when she spelt it like that, but I have usually always gone by Grace or Gracie, but like at work I go by Catherine. My name tag says Cat, and some of my family members call me Catherine, but yeah, my first name isn't Grace, it's Catherine. Fact number six is I don't think I've ever shipped anyone as hard as I have shipped Derek and Casey from Living Life with Derek. I remember watching that show when I was really little, and it's very odd because they are stepbrother and stepsister, so they're not blood related, but they're still like marriage related. I ship them so hardcore. I don't even know, maybe I was like in 4th grade. I don't think I quite understood fully. Maybe I did, but I have never, and I still ship them, honestly, because they were so funny. Derek was such a jerk, but he also was funny and nice at times, and Casey was always like, had to be in control about everything. She hated Derek, and I think they canceled that show because everyone wanted them to be together, and they were like, okay, this is probably not sending the best message, but I would love to have a reunion of that show, and yeah, I shipped them hardcore. Fact number seven is I saw Zac Efron at a Dodger game, and it was such a crazy moment because me and my dad were just walking along, and all of a sudden I see this beautiful man. Honestly, when I watch Zac Efron in movies or something, I never was like, oh my god, he's so attractive, I love him so much. It was kind of just like, yeah, he's a pretty guy. But then I saw him in person, and I just do not understand how a human could be so beautiful. I still think he's kind of like an alien or something, because it was just like a halo was surrounding him, and I just stared at him, and he looked at me, and I think like he wanted to stop, but he was with his friends, and so he kept walking, which I don't care because I probably would have been way too nervous to even get a photo with him. But my dad was like, oh my god, Grace, he was staring at you, and he wasn't, but my dad's so cute, and it was a wacky experience because I'd never been to a baseball game, and the first time that I did, I saw Zac Efron, so that was pretty wild. Fact number 8 is when I was little, I was extremely shy. I was that kid that like hid behind my mom or my dad when older people would try and talk to me. But I remember specifically me and my mom were at a grocery store one day, and the girl who was ringing us up was like, "You're so cute, and you don't have to be shy," and stuff like that. And I remember from that day forward, me and my mom got in the car and I was like, "Mom, I'm not gonna be shy anymore." And ever since then, I'm not saying that I'm not shy occasionally, because I am, but ever since then I like got into acting classes and I was like blossomed, and that was really like a eureka moment for me. And I was like 5, but I was a very serious child. I'll insert photos here. I never smiled really as a baby, and I was always serious. I remember sitting on Santa's lap one year and he was like, "Are you good? Have you been good this year?" And I was like, "No, I haven't." And I was just completely honest. And I don't think I had an imagination when I was little. I think it kind of came when I was older, which is strange, but yeah. Number 9 is kind of embarrassing, and I didn't know that emo stands for emotional. I thought it was just emo was a phase that everyone goes through, or at least a lot of people go through when they're like in middle school. And you know, I had that like comb over, I wore all black. I just thought emo was a stage that we all go through in life, but it actually represents emotional. It's just a shortened term for that. And so that was mind-boggling for me. I was like, emo means emotional? What? So yeah, that was actually kind of embarrassing. Fact number 10 is I recently read Hans Christian Andersen's version of Little Mermaid to my niece recently, and I never really realized how effed up both stories are, because the more I think about it, the just angrier I get. So Ariel, but in Hans Christian Andersen's story, her name is something different, I believe. I don't really recall. The sea witch cuts out her tongue so she can be on land with a prince that she never knew and never like ever talked to, and she loses her voice in order to be desirable by this guy who in the end doesn't even like her, and she turns into sea foam because he never loved her. He chose to marry a different woman. And then in the Disney version, she still sells her voice to the sea witch in order to be with a guy she never met. So a woman has to give up her voice to be with a guy. I just think that is crazy. The more you think about it, it's just wild and horrible. I don't really know how that's a fact about myself. It's kind of more just a realization that I've had, but I just wanted to talk about it. Fact number 11 is my niece and nephew are my favorite people in the world, and I don't think I've ever loved anyone as much. I know for a fact I've never loved anyone as much as I love them, and they are like my own children. And I don't even know if I ever have my own children one day, I don't even know how I'm supposed to cope with that love, because the love I have for my niece and nephew is so intense. I'm like, wow, this is crazy. But yeah, they are my favorite people in the world, and they're amazing. Fact number 12 is I have drinking coffee ever since I was like 4 maybe. My mom was crazy and she let me drink coffee all the time. And so I don't think I've gone a day without drinking coffee since I was like probably 7 maybe, because I drank it, you know, when I was really little, but I didn't drink it every day. But then it just started to be an everyday thing. And a lot of people say it stunts growth. Maybe that's true because I am 5 foot, but my mom is also 5 foot. So maybe we're just like a smaller, you know, family. My dad's pretty tall. My sister is pretty short. My other sister's kind of tall. So I don't really know scientifically if that's fact. But I drink coffee every day and I am 5 foot. Number 13 is really funny actually. So before I ever got super into reading, which I became super into reading kind of when the Mortal Instruments movie came out, and before then everyone talked about 50 Shades of Grey. It was everywhere. It was the most popular book, and I genuinely thought it was a classic. I had no idea what it was about. I just knew that everyone was talking about it, and I thought it was like a classic, kind of like The Color Purple or something. One summer, my family and I, we rented out a beach house, and the family that owned the beach house, they had the 50 Shades of Grey trilogy, and I was like, oh my gosh, these are the classics that everyone is talking about. And 50 Shades of Grey, I've always thought that was a really cool name for a book, so that's probably why I thought it was a classic, because I was like, that is a clever title. So then I read the first like 3 pages, and honestly I still didn't even understand what it's about. I was like, this is boring, so I stopped reading it. And then finally when I started to get really into reading, and then I watched YouTube videos, they were like, yo, that's an erotica. And I was like, wow, I didn't even realize it was erotica when I read like the first 3 pages. I just thought it was boring. I was like, this is a weird modern day classic. But yeah, that is just a funny thing that I thought. Fact number 14 is when I was little, I think maybe 1st or 2nd grade, my sister always teased me, and she teased me about some serious stuff that I actually thought was real, and it kind of screwed me up when I was little because I was so scared all the time. But she told me one thing that I believed for a very long time. She said that I could get pregnant by the sun, And so every time I went outside, I was so scared, and it's kind of really screwed up because I was genuinely terrified that I was gonna get pregnant because the sun would make me pregnant. And I thought that for a very long time, and that's something that I thought. Last fact, I just thought of one that's pretty cool, is when I was, I think, a sophomore in high school, I took an EMT course for a semester. It was just an extra course that I could take for extra credit. And I learned so much in there. I learned CPR, I learned the Heimlich, how to do it on kids and everything. And for my birthday, the year that I was taking that class, my nephew, who was a baby at the time, started choking on something. We were at Chili's, and he started choking on something, and everyone was freaking out. I just grabbed my nephew and I did, you know, what I learned in class, and he coughed it out, and it was like such a prideful moment for me. So the next day I went to my teacher and I told him, and he was like, oh my gosh, you need to be on Brim News, which was the high school that I went to. And you know how in like high school, before, like when the day starts, you kind of watch, I don't know if it's for every high school, but the TV comes on and like the anchors, like the student anchors will tell you everything about school. Well, he wanted me to be on that and explain what happened, and I did, and I was, oh my god, I was so nervous. But that was a really, really cool moment in my life. So those were just some 15 facts about myself. I would love to know some facts about you, some funny facts. Those are always just really fun to read. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.